It has been a while since I last got to play with Wazuh. And if you aren't familiar, Wazuh is an open source security platform. It's like endpoint detection response and security information event management all in one. You can spin it up in your own environment, you can use it to test different scenarios, look at different attacks. It's all this awesome stuff here. Configuration management, malware detection, file integrity monitoring, threat hunting, log data analysis, vulnerability detection. The list goes on and on. It's super cool. You can spin it up in your home lab, or maybe you use it for real to protect your business or organization. But a lot of folks love Wazuh because Wazuh loves open source and making this accessible, available for anyone. So I've got it spun up in my own environment here, and let me show you what I've got going on. I'll go ahead and log in, but I mentioned it's been a little bit since I've been able to go take a look at what Wazuh is up to. And now, if I go take a look at the version here, we're up to version 4.14.1. And if you haven't been tracking, there are a lot of really sweet updates in this new version. Granted, a lot of these come from the new major release 4.14.0, right? The most recent major release in October, 4.14.0, brings a whole lot of new improvements to IT hygiene. So let me show you what I've got going on here, because I have a lot of virtual machines up and running. I have one host that's hosting the Wazuh server. I have a Wazuh agent installed on one Windows 11 host, another agent installed on another Windows 11 host, and a Windows 10 host. Now, of course, you all know Wazuh is extremely cross-platform, so you could get an agent to run on Linux, of course. And if we were to go take a look at the agents that I have connected, those four, Windows 11 as the host name for one of these, and then the other random computer host names for the other Windows hosts. But if we were to deploy a new agent, you could see this thing run on Linux, Windows, and Mac. Installation is super easy, right? We don't need to cruise through it. Honestly, you can just fill in the server address and then copy paste the invoke command to run this thing. I won't walk us through deploying an agent in this video because we've covered it in a lot of other Wazuh videos on the channel, so check those out if you're interested. But with the agents connected, of course, we could drill down into one and get a lot of information. You've got all the usual Wazuh visibility on compliance, vulnerabilities, MITRE attack techniques, top 5 packages, different scans, file integrity monitoring, but I did want to show you some of the coolest new stuff with IT hygiene. So I'll click into this here, but notice that I'm still pinned to my Windows 11 agent. Look at all the stuff that we see in the dashboard, the tab that we're on right now, between the operating system, packages that are installed, maybe some information on the system, running processes, CPU information, but this is all in the context currently of just one agent. Now, previously, historically, that's kind of how it's always been in Wazuh. You would just kind of drill down to one agent and look at this all kind of one by one. But if I unpin that agent, you get to see all of this inventory, all this intel across all of your connected agents. And this is super cool because now you've got that big picture visibility across everything, across your entire environment or enterprise. I know I'm working with just, 4 hosts to kind of show the demo here, but let me look. In the system tab, you could see all the different sort of operating systems that might be across your environment. If Linux were in the picture here, that could have a little bit more visibility. We could drill down into any one of these. Let me click inspect details here. You've got the architecture, of course, the host name, the kernel release, specific version of the operating system, and that name. And that's just kind of scratching the surface. Like, take a look at the hardware section. Now we could get all this visibility for even the machine information. How many CPU cores does it have? What's the name of the processor? What's the speed, total RAM? So you could use this to even monitor health of your systems. But some of the coolest stuff is in the software tab, in my opinion, because you're tracking then all of the packages or installed software like programs and applications across each host. And again, of course, you could drill down, filter in, narrow to just one specific instance, like one host or endpoint, or you could see this across all of them. Like, let me jump to page 5 and you'll see a different host name over on the far left side. So what we could do is actually just kind of filter out all of the default usual Microsoft Corporation or just even Microsoft signed or vendor specific software. So let me click the minus button here. So all those will go away. We might have been looking at like 400 or something hits before. Now we could drill down to smaller stuff, and we don't need to see solitaire as one example. This way you could track a baseline. Like, what's your gold image for a operating system for a new install of different computers and PCs in your environment? I've got a lot of Python stuff in here. We could tune that out. And when I do this, by the way, we're modifying or adding filters to the very top, and you could, as always, add your own advanced filters with specific queries that you might be trying to search for. While I'm here though, we could take a look at some of the other tabs like Windows knowledge bases, KBs or packages, hotfixes, patches that are applied. Having the inventory on that and then being able to declare what fields that you actually want to see or even track and filter down on is pretty awesome. And browser extensions. So no matter what different web browser anyone in your organization might be using, whether it's Edge, whether it's Firefox, whether it's Chrome, whether it's Brave, then you could see, are there any rogue browser extensions? Are they malicious? Are any of those a virus? In fact, actually, while we're on that topic, I think what would be kind of cool, maybe fun, maybe a little bit more of a demo for this video is to compromise one of these hosts and use this new visibility, this inventory from IT Hygiene to try to triage and see what's going down. So bear with me for the showcase here, but say that some threat actor, some hacker, some cyber criminal had gained access to this machine. They had remote code execution and they already had admin privileges, so they could run whatever code or commands they wanted. I'm gonna simulate this. Obviously, I know I'm just sort of interacting like manually with that host and that computer, but let's say the malware has already fired. It's already invoked, it's already got its hooks and claws in there, and now we want to triage. So using Wazuh and this IT Hygiene inventory, let's use that as some lens to be able to look through this stuff. I'm actually gonna go take a look at the processes here, and let's see what sticks out across all those different agents or computers that we're looking through here. Just as I mentioned, we could toggle any of the columns that are displayed and maybe reorder them. We could determine what fields we want to show on this table and filter out the stuff that we just don't care to see. We've got a lot of service host.exe entries. I'm gonna ignore those. I know, look, of course, yeah, whatever process injections, tricks, maybe there's some malware that could hide in that file name, like in that program, that .exe process name. But for the sake of demonstration, let's keep cruising. You can see we have a lot of stuff running here. Access, smart search, access stuff over and over again, trusted installer. Maybe that's another Windows default we could probably tune out. And I know looking through just a giant dump of running processes isn't really ideal for, threat hunting, especially when you've got pages upon pages of these rows and results here. So we can take another look at maybe some of the other tabs and get some other ideas. Say we look at the network tab, and this lets us drill down into some other really interesting stuff just as well. By default, it'll put us on the addresses page, and maybe just a cool trick, if you wanted to get the real inventory of what hosts have what IP addresses, maybe IPv4, well, we could just like filter out the IPv6 type. We don't need to see localhost like this 127.0.0.1. Let's remove that. And then the network IP address that doesn't really work with whatever netmask or subnet that's associated with, we could filter that out just to get the specific local IP addresses. Let me tune out these. Cool. So now all of our 4 agents and hosts, we could track down what their actual IP address is. Do that across your entire environment. That might be pretty handy. And you could track different interfaces. A lot of these are in specific virtual machines for me, so nothing super specific. Could take a look at protocols, and of course, we could drill down into each and kind of every one of these if you did want to inspect the details. See whether or not it's getting an IP address from DHCP, know what the actual gateway is, all that handy stuff. But I think listeners are really the most interesting perspective because of, hey, maybe some of those are an open door, like open ports or listening services that are waiting for connections, like malware might be, or anything that could be used for a backdoor. We can see from the graphs here that system might be serving some, and if I filter on strictly that, we could see all the different ports that it might be hosting. We can take a look at another, remove that filter, some of the top 5 processes. I'm just looking in this chart for now. How about services.exe? Just what's naturally running. From here, let me try and look for some binded ports from maybe some of the top 5 processes that seem to be listening. They have some port open. Oftentimes the system process is usually what you could track down for different services that might be running. So I'm gonna click in there even just from this top 5 processes graph, and then we could see if anything kind of sticks out to us. A lot of 445 like SMB, 137, 138, 139, also pretty common in the Windows world, 445. Maybe we filter out some of the UDP listening endpoints. Oh, and I see some down here, 8080. That's an odd port to be listening on with TCP. Can we drill down into that? That's bound on all interfaces, so 0000 as the IP address. Listening on 8080, but with the process ID of 4, it's just coming from system, which isn't all that helpful, but that might mean it is a running service. It is on the Windows 11 host though, based off of that host name. So what if I just went back to processes and actually let me drill down to specifically explore one of these agents? Well, you could search for any that you'd like across your entire fleet. Let me use that Windows 11 one to zoom in and specifically be looking at that agent. What processes are running here? Okay, one sticks out, PowerShell, right? PowerShell doesn't normally run on the end user workstation if we're going along with this scenario. You know that in this scenario though, our bad actor, hacker, cyber criminal, and threat actor did probably open up PowerShell just for the demonstration's sake. So let me open up command prompt specifically, not to trigger like a PowerShell.exe, but we at least have, okay, some command prompt. Can I list out, and maybe I'm doing my triage here, maybe I'm using our RMM, remote monitoring and management tool, to kind of go validate and look, is that actually running? Could I filter for an image name? Just a quick check of the usage. Looks like I can use /fi and then something specific like an image name if it's equal to. So let me try that. Task list /fi image name equal to PowerShell.exe. Okay, it is running with that specific PID just like we saw in Wazuh. But can I kill that? It shouldn't be running, right? PowerShell.exe, killed. Is it gone? No, it's back. Different PID this time, 3956. Let's kill it again. Is it still running? It's back. Okay, so this machine is infected. Are you playing along? And what is hosting on 8080? Even if we weren't on this compromised host, we know the IP address from the network tab, that suite inventory from Wazuh and the IT hygiene module. So let's go check out port 8080. Ooh, rogue service is alive. Provide CMD equals, like to run a command. Okay, so this looks like some internal local area network, realistically backdoor. This is a web shell, right? Simple setup, but say this web shell malware could be used to, run different commands and have backdoor access to fire up and do anything else. That's their persistence mechanism. But we start to wonder, how can they keep respawning this PowerShell.exe if that's what's running this port 8080 while that's listening? Is that set up as a service? We've seen processes, we've seen the network tab. You can, of course, take a look at traffic, and maybe we'll even be able to see a lot of the communication now to 8080. Cruising through these, we've seen the processes tab, we've seen the network tab. If you want to take a look at the identity tab, that'll give you inventory of specific users or groups. Of course, cross-platform as always, drill down, do whatever filters, toggle any fields that you might like. But let's hop over to the services tab, because now I'm wondering what sticks out here. We're pinned to our Windows 11 host still. We know that could be our compromised instance, but let me rearrange this. Maybe we add some other available fields here, because I'm wondering, could we go track down, is PowerShell running as some sort of executable? Is that what is set up as a service? Let's add a filter and try to look for that. Process.executable could be like anything with PowerShell in the name, right? So I'm using the stars as a wildcard. Are there any hits there? No. Okay, so what is this thing? Let's clear out that filter and let's just explore. Granted, there are 640 of these. Maybe that is going to be tough to look through with all of the specific like Windows, Microsoft defaults, right? But something's got to stick out like a sore thumb if it's probably not running out of System 32. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Again, the premise here is that our admin, or our threat actor, our hacker had admin privileges. So there could be something running in System 32. But just to go kind of clear that out, let's remove any executable path that's not containing the substring System 32. That brings us down to like 275, a little bit easier to start with. And I've seen this actually be a little bit finicky with lowercase s for System 32. I don't know if it's case sensitivity or not. So let me add an and not process executable with the lowercase one here. What do we got? What else is running? VMware stuff, Microsoft Defender, Wazuh itself, Windows Defender, SQL Server Writer. That's odd. Overlay things. What is that at the very bottom? You see that? Windows Helper Service running from chocolatey nssm.exe. Okay, let's explore what the heck that is. Gives us the path, gives us the process ID, and that is running as system. So I wonder if that is it. Local system as the ID, right? But that's still what's serving this 8080 potentially. Could we go triage that on the host? Again, stick with me. I know I'm cheating going in and out of the host itself. We don't always have that luxury, but let me go take a look at the services. Of course, we've got this inventory inventory from Wazuh already, but I want to just double check for our Windows Health service, Windows Helper service. Let me stop that service and then let's go back to our terminal. Do we still see the PowerShell process running? We don't. It never came back. Was that managed by our Windows Helper service, NSSM? Let me go take a look at that browser page, right? Nope, that's spinning. It's not gonna be there. Okay, so that was, a rogue malicious service hosting, serving, providing this backdoor via simple web shell. Even in the local area network, that's still something that could be used for lateral movement. Maybe that's even funneled out with ngrok or some other tunneling capability. All that is to say, we got to track that down amongst however many other agents that you might have, endpoints in your environment, and filter and track and identify and have the inventory, even at a bird's eye view of all of the system information, operating system details, software, processes, network, identity and services, and browser extensions too. Like, that's so cool. So let me take you a little bit behind the scenes. I think it would be kind of fun to get an idea as to what was actually ran on this host as the malware showcase here. I have a PowerShell HTTP script. Let's open that up just so I can show you the code. And as always, let me be real with you. This is some AI slop. I'm not shy about vibe coding and speed running to solutions when they work for a little cutesy showcase. We have a simple PowerShell script. I think for a proof of concept and demo, that still works for the video fireworks here. Look, we have some parameters to host and serve on a specific port. We have a default Windows Helper service name, and then a toggle as to whether or not we'll install a service. Of course, we've got the functionality to make sure that we are elevated running as admin. And if we actually toggle the switch to install a service, then we use Chocolatey. Chocolatey, if you haven't heard before, let me pull it up for you. I think I've even showcased this before in other Wazuh videos, so it's nothing new by any means, but it's a sweet, easy, quick sort of package manager, quick installer in the Windows world. I should be using Winget, but I'm just so naturally used to Chocolatey. With Chocolatey, we install NSSM, and I don't know if I've covered NSSM in another video before, so I hope this is some sweet education just if you haven't seen it before. But NSSM is the non-sucking service manager. Clicking on the page here, it's an open source utility to be able to easily manage Windows services, and honestly, you may very well see some malware that bundles it in because it's just so quick and easy to get a service up and running. And like, I ran a PowerShell script with this, not a full-blown Windows binary, not a compiled program or application. It just crapped out, spin up, and ran the PowerShell service that is simply a PowerShell script to host an HTTP server. That is our backdoor, that is our web shell. So since this thing was shut down, we did stop that service. Let me show you just what it looks like while we're running it. Running as the administrator, let me run our PowerShell HTTP and let me use install service. That will then, see that it is already set up, install NSM if it doesn't have it, and create it, even though it does already exist in that case. Well, all that was fun. The real demo here is Wazuh and their IT hygiene new feature set with some of the latest versions that they've got out the door, 14.0. It's just cool. Honestly, I still feel like I barely scratched the surface of all the stuff that it can do because it even includes some Microsoft Graph API. Sweet little dashboard for monitoring activity, audit events from Microsoft Cloud Services. So think like Entra ID, think Azure Active Directory. All that's hooked in with the Microsoft Graph API. Of course, it's got all the tweaks, it's got all the bug fixes, it's got better stability, performance, etc., etc. But goodness gracious, I do like that IT hygiene dashboard. Having that big picture visibility, being able to zoom in, drill down when you need to, and the icing on the cake, if you wanted to generate a report, they make that super easy with just a quick button just as well. Look at this! Can distribute that if you ever need to, and that gets all the sweet deets. Hey, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed that little showcase, just some pseudo investigation using Wazuh and their IT hygiene with the new version 14.0, 14.1, and more to come. Hope there was some good education in there for Chocolatey. If you haven't seen that before, NSSM, the non-sucking service manager, maybe you'll see that around. And yeah, you can host an HTTP web server with just pure PowerShell, which is kind of cool. Please do give Wazuh some love. There's a link in the video description if you are getting that running in your own home lab or in your environment, in your organization. I'm just a fanboy. They have cool stuff. Thank you again and again. Please do all those YouTube algorithm things, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.